Hello, welcome to Karen's Inquisitive Corner. I am Karen Elizabeth, Patton Jack's baby girl. So today we're going to talk about strep. And strep is everywhere. That's the title for today's topic. Now, a lot of times we go to the doctor and we'll have signs and symptoms of a cold, and the doctor will say, well, it's viral or it's bacterial, which you may or may not know what that means. A lot of times we go to the doctor with a cold, we want antibiotics. We don't care if it's viral. We don't care if it's bacterial. We want antibiotics. We want antibiotics. And but it's the difference between viral and bacteria. Most of the time when we have strep throat, all of you all have heard of strep throat. Some of you all have experienced it like me more, excuse me, more than once. Hold on 1 minute. More than once. But I want you to understand that strep can be found so many other places than just your throat. Did you know that? Who knew? Strep can be found on your skin. It can be found in your vagina and in women's vagina. And when they have children and give birth and they have strep, when the child comes out through the vagina, that child can actually get strep also, can be born with a strep infection. It can be in your intestines. It can be in your urinary tract. It can be in your lungs. It can be in your bloodstream. It can be in your muscles. It can be in your joints, your spinal cord, your brain, and in your heart. So strep can actually show up in any part of your body. Bacteria strep can. It can also show up in your rectum. And a lot of times the strep, of course, is on the inside and then it comes out on the outside, like it comes out on the outside of your skin. Now, it's something called strep butt. I'm not sure if any of you all have ever heard it before. The proper name is perianal streptococcal cellulitis, or strep butt. So let's look at a few pictures here because I want to show you exactly what strep would look like on your skin and on other places of your body, so you can get a clear picture of it. Now, this is a picture of someone with strep and they have strep throat. Now, this is a really, really bad case of strep throat. This is strep in your joints that has come out through your skin. These are pictures of skin strep. As you can see in the top my left hand corner, that's a hand. And these are really bad pictures of strep that have gone into an infection. So I want you to understand that strep can actually be any part of your body. It does not just have to be in your throat. Now, when you have strep butt, and I know you're probably laughing saying strep butt, but I actually had a member of the family to call me and say, hey, my grandson had strep butt. Have you ever heard of it before? And I was like, no, I've never heard of it before. So that made me go and do some research. And I said, oh my goodness, I have to share that with everybody. Now, this is actually a picture of someone who was diagnosed with strep butt. You can see that they have a bright red, sharply defined rash around the anus. And the skin is usually moist around the red areas, usually moist. It's very painful. So you can imagine how painful it is for the person to sit. It itches a lot and it's very, very tender. So it's going to be very tender to touch. You're going to have painful bowel movements, which Of course, you're going to have painful bowel movements because your bowel has to come through an area that's very, very sensitive. It's already red. It's already painful. It's already sore. And because of that, usually it will lead to constipation. You're going to have visible bright red blood in your stool. In some cases, you're actually going to suffer from a fever. Now, I want you all to understand that people believe that if you have strep throat, that or some type of strep, that you can give it to somebody else. Of course you can. But I want you to understand that there are some people who are carriers of strep. They have no signs and symptoms. They have no fever, no redness, nothing. They are carriers of strep, but they can transmit the strep to another person. About 15% of adults and about 20% of children are carriers. Some people know that they're carriers. Some people don't know that they're carriers because they have no signs and symptoms. I also want you to understand that strep throat is airborne. It is contagious and it's airborne, meaning that a person with strep throat can give it to somebody else by droplets. So that person is going to spew out droplets when they're talking to you, just in the area that you're going to be breathing in. So if you have strep throat, to protect the other person, you really should wear a mask. Another way the strep can be spread is through towels, sharing towels, sharing utensils, eating after somebody, drinking after somebody, kissing, being next to a person that may have it on their skin and they may have fluid draining from that area, or they may have one of the sores that burst. You can also get it that way. So make sure that if you have strep throat, that you put a mask on. If you have areas on your skin where you have strep, make sure that is covered up, or you are not rubbing against or touching anybody with that area. You can also get strep through contaminated surfaces where someone, as I said, they had skin strep and some part of that area has rubbed off on the countertops and they weren't clean. It only lives a short period of time on surfaces, but there's still a chance that you can get strep from surfaces. Like I said, draining wounds. You don't want to share towels. You don't want to share washcloths. You don't want to share toothbrushes. And so those are the places that you can actually get strep. Now, strep is something that has been around for ages, And of course, when you have viral, the doctor is not going to give you anything. They're not going to give you an antibiotic. And I know a lot of us have been in this case where we want an antibiotic, but the doctor is not going to give you an antibiotic because it's viral. But they will give you an antibiotic if the strep is bacterial. Now, if you have skin strep, they're not only going to give you an antibiotic, they're going to give you some topical cream. They're going to also probably give you something for pain because it's going to be very, very painful. One thing that we do, the doctor gives us antibiotics for 10 days. We'll take it for 3 days or 5 days because we're feeling better and we won't finish the antibiotics. Please finish your antibiotics. You take them for 3 days and then a month later, you get strep again and you're trying to figure out why. It's because you did not finish your antibiotics. So if you have antibiotics for 10 days, take your antibiotics. Make sure that you keep your areas on your skin clean, and make sure you keep them dry. Make sure you wrap up areas so it won't be spreading. That if you have any leakage from the areas, that you get clean towels, clean washcloths, change your sheets, take your clothing off, wash it immediately, and make sure that it does not come in contact with anyone else. So strep butt. Now you know. A lot of times when people look at a rash, especially on a baby's butt. Now, anybody can have strep butt, but it's more prevalent in children. And when they look at the rash, the first thing they think about is being a diaper rash. And so they're going to treat it at home. But if that diaper rash does not clear up, that baby, that child may have strep, and they may need antibiotic, or they may need some type of prescription cream to help with the pain, to help with the itching, and to help clear it up. So I hope you all learned something today about strep butt. I always learn something when I look up things for you. And please be like our other family member. If there's something that you want to hear in the corner, please do let me know. Now, what I want to close with today is I want to talk to our beautiful, amazing, strong women. And I want to remind you that you are a warrior, okay? You fight for what you believe in. You are a warrior because you defend your family, your man, and your children. You design war plans to pay bills, buy food, clean the house, get the kids to parties, football games, cheerleading. You make sure dinner is ready on time. You make sure everything is laid out for the next day. You execute plans with detail and completion. You are a warrior who stands on the front line, and everyone must go through you to get to the people that you love. You may be stabbed, you may be hit, you may be talked about, used, taken for granted, broken, but remember, broken crayons still color. You get knocked down by the enemy, but you still rise. You wear disappointment, you wear heartache, you wear jealousy as part of your armor. Been there, done that. You get beat down, but you get back up over and over again. When you want to surrender, you pull strength from your ancestors. They remind you that they got you and will always cover you. And you know, a good warrior goes into every battle with fear, not knowing what's coming, with faith, knowing whatever comes, this battle has already been won, and with forgiveness, to live, to fight another day. I love you, my beautiful, amazing, extraordinary, fantastic warriors. You all have an amazing day. This is Karen Elizabeth, Pat and Jack's baby girl, and I will see you all next week. Bye-bye.